How would you characterise the threats that Meghan and Harry received?
Well, disgusting and very real.
But there were many serious, credible threats against Meghan, were there, emanating from the far right?
Absolutely. If you'd seen the stuff that was written and you were receiving it, the kind of rhetoric that's online, if you don't know what I know.
Meghan Markle thought her fairy tale had become a reality when she married the Prince of England, Harry. But the dream quickly faded, and the horrible reality was far from what anyone could have imagined. Things have gone so horribly for the suit star that now Meghan is worried she might even be assassinated. What are her fears, and who really is trying to hurt Meghan? You'll find out in today's video. Everyone was left shocked and upset after finding out that the royal family was racist towards Harry's wife and the newest addition to the royal family. Eventually, the couple had to cut themselves off from the royal family. When they left, they painted the institution as racist and uncaring. But it looks like their nightmare is far from over. Even after leaving, Meghan continues to receive threats. Whether this is because she's black or because she was bold enough to leave the royal family, these disgusting threats just keep getting worse every day. Does someone want Meghan to end up like her mother-in-law? Meghan Markle has been vocal about her horrible experience at the royal palace ever since she left the institution with her husband in 2016. Things were rocky from the start, but they turned exponentially worse after her first pregnancy.
Meghan claimed at least one member of the family had concerns about how dark their son's skin would be.
There are several conversations.
There's a conversation with you,
with Harry,
about how dark your baby is going to be?
Potentially, and what that would mean or look like.
In her interview with Oprah, she said that members of the royal family were worried about how dark her baby was going to be and how that would look like for the image of the royal family. But remarks from the family and the public were unfortunately not the worst of it. Meghan received and still continues to receive alarming threats from racists and right-wing nationals.
You were in charge of royal protection. How would you characterise the threats that Meghan and Harry received?
Well, disgusting and very real.
To show you how bad it's gotten, a former counter-terrorism police chief even had to come on air to reveal that Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, and her husband, Prince Harry, faced disgusting and very real threats from right-wing extremists. The police chief was in charge of royal protection during his time at the Metropolitan Police, and he got to see the worst threats and accusations against Meghan. In fact, the threats were so alarming that he explained, if you'd seen the stuff that was written and you were receiving it, you would feel under threat all of the time. People have been prosecuted for those threats.
So you were convinced that there was a genuine threat to Meghan's life on more than one occasion, on several occasions?
We had teams investigating it. People have been prosecuted for those threats.
These assassination threats were so severe that the police department had to properly investigate them. The police chief thinks it's a greater issue than just people's dislike for Meghan. The racism in Britain is growing by the day, and the far right is becoming more and more popular.
I've talked publicly for many years about the threat of extreme right-wing terrorism in this country. I've often been misquoted as taking my eye off the ball, as though I think that was the biggest threat. I've never called it the biggest threat, but it was the fastest growing.
He also thinks it is probably one of the biggest growing threats to English society, even though most people want to turn their heads away from this reality.
On the security element, that was a shock to me. That was what completely changed the whole plan. Not that we had a plan.
You, as Prince Harry, are going to have your security removed.
Yeah, and I even wrote letters to his family saying, please, it's very clear the protection of me or Archie is not a priority. I accept that. That is fine. Please keep my husband safe. I see the death threats. I see the racist propaganda. Please don't pull his security and announce to the world when he and we are most vulnerable. And they said it's just not possible.
In the same Oprah interview, Harry and Meghan made another startling revelation. Despite the assassination threats against not just Meghan, but even Harry, the royal family decided to remove their security. This put the couple, as well as their baby, at even more risk than before. In order to protect her husband, Meghan let go of any pride and begged the royal family to keep Harry safe, but the family refused. The racist bullying on social media became so intense during her first pregnancy that the royal staff was put on high alert, beefing up its own digital presence to filter out hateful comments, including use of the N-word and emojis of guns and knives. Prince Harry said he felt the palace was not doing enough publicly to combat the continued racial abuse in the press. Things got so tense from both sides that even the royal family was worried about racially motivated attacks on the family members after Harry and Meghan implied the family was racist. The police had to investigate a case in which a man posted a rather hostile video on social media. In the video obtained by the Sun tabloid, a masked figure in a dark hoodie holding a crossbow claims he will attempt to assassinate Elizabeth, Queen of the royal family. The man identified himself as an Indian sheikh, intent on revenge for an infamous 1919 massacre of sheikhs in British-ruled India. British media took this issue once again to twist things around and place the blame on none other than Harry and Meghan. Even senior journalists blamed Prince Harry and Meghan Markle for putting them at risk of such attacks. One of the journalists wrote, "I genuinely worry that Prince Harry and Meghan's criticism of unnamed racist royals has increased the danger of attacks on the royal family. Security needs to be stepped up as a result." It's clear that the whole British nation is punishing Meghan for speaking up about her experience as a British royal. She suffered from racism and discrimination, and now the people are angry at her for even mentioning it. If Meghan's account of racism inside the royal family wasn't enough to convince you, then the upsetting experience that Nosky Fulani had with royal aide, Lady Susan Hussey, would definitely change your mind. Despite telling Lady Susan and Fulani was in fact British, she wouldn't accept the answer and kept insisting Fulani tell her where she really was from. In the end, Lady Susan satisfied herself by saying she was in fact African American. It's clear that members of the royal family do not consider black people one of their own.
And why are you here? All you've done is trash this country, trash the royals, trash the monarchy, and upset the Queen. What are you doing here? Well, lawyer Paula Roan Adrian and Talk TV contributor Esther Krakow here. So, Paula, why are they here? They hate this country, they hate the royal family, they've disowned the royal family, they hate the monarchy and all it stands for. They keep their royal titles and fleece them for hundreds of millions of dollars to the highest bidder. What are they doing back here?
Another reason for such hostility against Meghan from the British tabloid could be due to her strained relationship with the royals. After all, the British people are very deeply attached to the monarchy, and Meghan's arrival to the scene shook the whole foundation. In one of his shows, Piers said, "I hope she just sticks a cork in it, stays in California, and goes about her life without trashing the monarchy and the royal family, without whom she would not have the titles that she exploits for vast amounts of money."
I just didn't want to be alive anymore. And that was a very clear and real and frightening, constant thought.
All these threats and the open hostility are, of course, taking a toll on Meghan's mental health. At one point, things got so bad that she even contemplated suicide. What's alarming is that she received no help from the royal family during these times. After much pushback from the media and the world, it looks like the royal family is finally focusing on the rampant racism among its ranks. In the wake of the allegations, the palace began publishing figures on its levels of ethnic minority staff for the first time in 2021, with the figure at 8.5%. But the royal accounts this June showed that the royal household has yet to hit its diversity target, with its proportion of ethnic minority staff standing at just 9.6%, having set a goal of 10% for 2022. A senior royal source said at the time the Queen and the Windsors had embraced the diversity of the nation, and the bid to improve diversity within the palace workforce was coming from across the royal family. A journalist revealed in his tweet, "When we published 3 reports on the harassment campaign targeting Meghan Markle, I told journalists Meghan was in serious danger and social media platforms were complicit. There are YouTube channels dedicated to targeting Meghan, and YouTube refuses to remove the channels." Only now is Meghan finally able to work on healing and talking about her experience. People all over the world are showing support for Meghan after finding out how poorly the royal family has treated her and how poorly the people of England have treated her too. One person said in a public tweet, "I know everyone waves it off as celebrity gossip, but the way Meghan Markle has been treated by the British royal family was a telling example how blatantly racist the monarchy still is." Other people are angry at the royal family for abandoning the couple when the threats against them are so severe and alarming. A person took to Twitter to express his concern and said, "The British royal family would rather Prince Harry be exposed and potentially killed for choosing to protect Meghan Markle and their children than actually make sure they are safe wherever they are." Meghan was a moderately famous American actress who could have never imagined she'd get to walk down the aisle in the royal palace and marry a prince. But like they say, all that glitters isn't gold, and the sweet daydream was soon broken by England's rampant racism. Looks like the royal family is also deep in the crutches of racism and colorism. Despite being in the 21st century, the royal family is still concerned with petty matters like the color of the royal baby's skin. Instead of shielding Meghan from the abuse of the British people, the royal family ganged up on her and made life a living hell for her. Now that she is out of Britain, we hope things get better for Meghan and her husband Harry. That's it for today, folks. Until next time, goodbye.